Hello, everybody. Fighting Crypto here, and today I want to talk about a crypto that, one, I do not own yet. It was brought up to me by a subscriber. Again, I talk to you guys a lot in the comments. Some of you kind of picked up on this, and I will not always do this, meaning I was requested to look into this crypto. You should get the idea from the title, Supra, and I was intrigued enough. I went ahead and spent a couple hours in a research. I'll call it like a moderate dive. I certainly did not find everything. I'm not going to claim do I have, but I did find enough to know if I would be interested in investing into it for this bull run or down the road, or if I feel like I just need more information. I got what I need to make enough of a detailed explanation to let you guys know what I think and maybe a few more directions for you guys to choose if you want to look into it a little bit further. So way you can do your own research, and if you already have, you can maybe just
Tweak a
Super
few
Layer
things,
1. It is
or
a
you just
USA
double
crypto
down
on this and buy three
that
times what
might
you already
matter.
have. But let's get into this. Let's talk a little bit about Supra Labs. So when I look at Supra, the first thing I think of at the end, actually, so when I was done looking into Supra, my generalized thought is it's a good project. It's got a good team. It's kind of high risk, in my opinion, and the reward can be very high depending on what the heck happens in the next 3 to 9 months. Now, let's go a little bit more detailed in there, shall we? The ticker symbol is Supra, S-U-P-R-A. Supra Labs was the original company that was made back in 2018. In 2024, just a couple months ago, they officially released their Supra Layer 1. So the company's been around for a while. That's good to see because it means that the company itself has been making money. That means it's much more likely to survive. That matters a lot. We're talking a new crypto that has not ran through a bull market, hasn't ran through a bear market, and kind of hasn't really done too much yet except build a lot of hype. Because the first year crypto kind of has to live off of hype, because that's all it really has going for it. So the original company, Supra Labs, before crypto happened way back in 6 months ago, 8 months ago. So what it mostly focused into was high performance computing and cloud infrastructure. So the company wasn't into blockchain tech, but it was very familiar with blockchain tech. Again, that's a good sign. It means they weren't just a bunch of random guys that went in and tried to throw something out there for us. Good sign to begin with. So it is predominantly a layer 1 with built-in smart contracts and oracles for interoperability. It means it can do a lot of shit, to be honest, at least theoretically. It instantly puts itself up there with competition of Chainlink and Quant, and then any kind of layer 1s. But in all reality, layer 1s don't really compete that much with each other. It's more so what is running on that layer 1. Do they have a DEX? Good news, Supra does. They have their own centralized DEX called Dexlin, so they can do trading, well, mostly buying, selling, trading on their own platform. That's really good news. I like to see that. Just like how Base has Aerodrome. We want to see these kind of things. There's more ways that money can come in and come out. Hopefully more come in. And that's what we want to see. It is a proof of stake. And you can stake your Supra. I'll get into this a little bit more near the end of the video, but that's certainly an option for me in the bear market. Because depending on where you go ahead and try to stake your Supra right now, you're looking anywhere between about 4.5% to 5%, up to 8% APY, which isn't that bad. Or if you go on Dexlin, it does have a 3-month lock-in as opposed to most of the third-party platforms have a 3-week lock-in. But Dexlin, their own DEX has an 18% APY. That's pretty nice. And it's actually gone down. So we'll talk briefly about their backers. Where's the money come from other than the original company? Because we want to see high volume and high economic backings on any crypto, let alone one that's trying to come into a layer 1 in interoperability that has a lot of competition already, that's kind of ahead of it. So let me actually pull up from their website. Here's some of the big backers, right? We see Coinbase Ventures. I'm going to get to that very soon. But we got several venture capitalist firms. We had a couple large heavy hitters here. which is a good sign, especially since there's no projects really running on Supra yet. If you've already invested in this crypto and you've done your research, yes, feel free to correct me. I understand that there's a few small projects, but not much of them are really doing anything yet. There's not really any TVL or too much money coming into it from these projects yet. But then we get back to with Coinbase Ventures. It's not on Coinbase yet, which it's not a requirement for me. But this far into the bull run, because we were already into the bull run, we just haven't had the major alt season yet. I personally really want to see it on Binance or Coinbase. It's on all the other like moderate exchanges. It's on MEXC, it's on KuCoin, it's on OKX. It's not yet on Uphold, but that one's not as big of a deal. I just personally like that one. So it's on a lot of the big names except for the two largest ones. And the reason why this matters is that people have to be able to see it to buy it, right? And most people, specifically the people that aren't into crypto right now, the ones who are not currently investing into it, we'll call it the normies, though half of us are or we were just a year or three ago, they're going to come in on Binance or Coinbase. You get that huge rush of liquidity coming in to buy random crypto that someone's mother told blah, blah, blah to buy. It's going to be on Coinbase and Binance predominantly. That's not saying this is not a good crypto. It's not saying this is not going to make money this bull run. But for me, that's a pretty big personal factor. But I'm going to be keeping an eye on it because the fact, again, that Coinbase Ventures, it's the investment arm of Coinbase Exchange, does financially support them. Because there's a pretty damn good chance it's going to end up on Coinbase sometimes. I didn't see it on their futures yet. I looked. Maybe it'll come out soon as an experimental token. It's new enough. I feel like it could. If it does that, and I have any extra money in USDC or just cash flow to throw in, that might change my mind on buying it for this bull run outright. Now with tokenomics, the first glance, it sucks, guys. I'm not going to lie. And I was hoping it was going to be one of these that you first look at it and you realize, hey, you know what? It's not as bad because they have allocations and time sets. And this one is kind of in there. It's not as bad as it looks. Let me show what you mean. Let's pull up CoinMarketCap. Now let's pull this bad boy. Okay. So this is the year chart. If you look, it's the exact same as the all-time chart. Hasn't even been around for a year. Right? So things I don't care about. Look at this massive spike right at the beginning and it dropped off. That happens. It's a new crypto. That will always happen because there was people that maybe bought pre-sale. This wouldn't be the early investors yet. So it's probably people who bought pre-sale or immediately in that first little bit where they had the chance, saw jump up and sold out, took profits. There's no fault at that. Don't blame it at all. And now we have it just coming down where everything crashed. And now it's trying to find its own spot. Where is it going to stay? Where is the community willing to? I'm not willing to sell at this point. And it looks like it's around that penny mark. I like it by the month because that's my favorite one to go by. And we're right around that penny mark for the most part. It actually has held pretty well around that penny 0.1, penny 0.3. Okay, we did a small dip under a penny. So it appears to be holding up. We look here at Supra, we see max supply 100 billion. The amount of coins, I could give two turtle shits less, guys. If there's 10 million or 100 billion, it just lets me know a little bit different things about the crypto. This is going to be, as it gets more trajectory and it's been around a little bit longer, it's going to be less volatile than something with less coins. But otherwise, I don't really care. The circulating supply, though, is less than 10 billion. So we don't even have 10% of the coins out. And that's the part that kind of was the first red flag. And shout out to Lego King is cool on bringing up this crypto to me. And he even said this, hey, the tokenomics kind of sucks. It's not as bad as it first looks, but that is going to turn off a lot of people from looking in deeper. Let's get into that right now. So they do have an official allocation of where other coins have went, where they're going, and when they're going to do it. That when is important to me because there's 90 billion plus tokens that are not released yet. And that's every time they're released, especially if they're in large amounts, it creates a lot of sell pressure, which brings prices down. which I have no problems with. But I need to know about it so I can kind of time when I'm going to buy, sell, or trade something. So I don't see it as a negative. I find it really important to know, though. They have about 22.8% in the foundation treasury. Okay, they can end up doing kind of anything with that. I didn't see too many specifics. 21% in validators and stakers. All right, so they're going to plan on doing this for a little while. I like that. That means you invest into them, you're going to get rewarded for that. And that's about a fifth of the tokens. I like that. 20% or 20.5% goes to early contributors and 16% goes to the team. That is a little high for my preference, to be completely honest. That's already taking over a third of the crypto, goes to people who are invested either just financially heavily into the project or time wise with their team into it. So that's a little bit of a turnoff for me personally. However, at least they have unlock periods to where there's a 6-month lock for the team, which at this point, I guess we've actually hit that 6-month lock. However, they're going to unlock over the next 3 years. So they're not getting access to all of them immediately. So there is a trickle effect. So that greatly limits the selling pressure. That part I like a lot. Again, not a big fan of how much is attributed to them in the early contributors, but I love that they have it stringing out over 3 years. That was a good move. So if you're looking at this at all in the bear market, which foreshadow, you're going to want to make sure you just know this, because those release schedules do matter, at least in terms with retail emotion and selling pressure. They have 11% to ecosystem and community, 4% to airdrops. I like airdrops. We'll see when they do that. It's usually a good way of pulling in marketing. And just to clarify, I mentioned the team has 6-month lock-in with a 3-year unlock over time. The early investors, the early contributors that were 20%, 20.5%. So that's going to be a 12-month lock. So they have not gotten their tokens yet. And they're going to release over 2 years. So they'll get all theirs 6 months sooner. But it's only the team right now. The early contributors will start getting theirs in August, I suppose. So again, makes a small difference if you believe, or if we find out that the peak of alt season is Q4 this year. And if things are really going up at that point, then we want to keep an eye on this. And if I'm in Supra at that time, I'll definitely be taking a look at how many of those tokens were actually released to those early contributors, because I'd expect them, if Supra goes up, they're going to sell all of it, right? At least all that they have their hands on, because they're going to get their first load, so to speak, right at the beginning of Q4. So keep that in mind if you have Supra. Their team looks solid. Again, the whole company was already working on computing and cloud infrastructure. So we have the co-founder and CEO and the other co-founder and COO, Josh Topkin and John Jones. All right, my name's freaking Fighting Crypto. Someone please acknowledge John Jones here. Okay, thank you. So these two co-founders, they both have backgrounds in this, right? Josh has over 10 years. He's worked with blockchain, cryptography, decentralized systems. That's exactly what I want to say, right? Exactly what I want to say. He led the design for the oracles and interoperability. So that's a good, trusting man put in the background for it. John Jones, really don't like the fighter. I just think this is cool. Regardless. Experience is mostly in marketing and developing growth strategies for Web3 projects. Okay, that looks good. I'm fine with that. Now, here's the part that matters the most for me right now is their partnerships. I mean, there's not really many right now, guys. And the ones that they do hasn't really created anything yet. Again, new token, it's hype build, and there's a little bit there to hype it up with. So they just recently got in with new blockchain integration. Pretty much they're just going to help bounce and boost the Oracle component of everything to keep, really not gas fees, I don't want to say that one in bridging, but keep cost expense down with the whole interoperability aspect of it. And it's going to make it a little bit easier to work with. At least that's the theory. My favorite one that I saw them partner up with is something called Hello Labs Collaboration. I have no idea what the heck that is, by the way, guys. But kind of what they're doing is Hello Labs is for the Supra Deep Showdown competition, which, again, I know nothing about what the heck that is, but it sounds pretty cool. And what it does is it challenges top blockchain developers to build and deploy Supra Deeps. So digital apps onto Supra and throw it on the Supra Layer 1 network, and winners have the opportunity to get investments from Supra's $100 million ecosystem fund with potential features on season 3 of Hello Labs reality TV show. Apparently it's a TV show called Killer Whales. Why does it matter about a reality TV show? That's marketing, guys. That is one hell of a good marketing strategy. Have people compete to make apps on this project, and if you do well, we might get you airtime to advertise for us. I love this. I have not followed through to see if this has really gone on network. If you guys have seen or heard about this, please comment section below for me. So that way I have to Google it less. But that was a big deal to me. I love seeing active marketing like that. So try to keep this short. Sorry, guys, but I want to actually jam-pack this video quite a bit. So last thoughts, right? What do I think about it? I definitely think it's a little bit of a risk in terms of for this bull run, which we'll say till the end of the year, right? I don't think it's a huge risk in terms of are you going to lose money? I don't think so. Obviously, it all depends on when you sell it, if you hold it to zero, blah, blah, blah. But for this bull run, I think it's relatively safe. I just can't tell you how much it's going to go up. It really depends on what do they add in the next 3 to 6 months to bring in revenue, or larger factors bring in hype, right? If they bring in a big partnership or they get a lot of TV airtime for it, that's going to do more than anything else. They get on Coinbase or Binance, that's going to boost it more than anything else. So this first year, really the next, we'll call it 6 months, is all about can they build up hype so people buy the token and they can make it easy for people to buy the token. I don't really want to give a price prediction, guys, because I have no effing clue, right? If I will say, like, if I bought this right now, so maybe this is my version of price prediction, because I think it is risky in terms of how much is it going to actually go up versus just going lateral if no real news comes out from it. I'd probably end up, let's say I put $1,000 into it, I'd probably sell half as soon as it doubles. That way I got my initial investment out and just kind of see what the heck happens from there. And I'd play with what the market sentiment, how things are moving in that time. But I would just phrase that, you already understand that I'm not buying Supra right now. But I got 2 thoughts on that one. One, I like this since it's I'll call it a micro cap. It's right at the 100 million. This might be one that I do the trickle down effect I've talked about a few times, where when I have a crypto that goes up, it hits a mark that I want and I sell, I will take out some of those profits and move it into a smaller market cap, or really any crypto that hasn't boosted up yet in price. And I've got a few already in mind. Some, DCAing in my own coins is always an option. Let's say, though, if my H bar goes up again, hits my next sell limit, which I have around 52 cents, I might move those profits. I'll take some, I'll move some into Supra. That's a strong option for me. I also have HFT hash flow that's on my list, and I'll have a couple others just to see timing of everything. I'm also very willing to put this into the bear market, but I need to see something happen before then, which I think we got a year, right? So if I see a major partnership, it gets more listings, it starts making real money, then I'd be willing to stake this in the bear market, especially if there's still over a 10% APY. That's inviting to me. And we put into their own layer 1 or into their own DEX on their layer 1, Dexlin, can get a higher percentage for it. And I'm certainly not against it. So there you have it, guys. That's kind of my general opinion about Supra. I think it's a great project. They got a great team. The tech is good. We don't invest in the tech, right? We invest in to make money. But all that's setting up pretty well. They got a great setup. And if this was a year ago, I would be much more likely to buy at this moment, just because I know they'd have more time to get things started. So with that said, do you own Supra? What are your thoughts on it? Do you think I'm full of shit, or do you think it's going to hit $1? And if so, tell me why. Because right now I see no why, but I do like this as a project. It is now officially on my radar and my watch list. Thank you for everyone for talking about this. I'll see you guys again soon. Peace.